If there was only one fashion brand that I could wear, it would be Maison Margiela, simply because of the immense variety it offers in its designs. This is the first episode of Cultured, where I will dive into the history of notable fashion brands, and to kick things off, I've decided to start with one of my all-time favorite brands, Maison Margiela. Maison Margiela was founded in 1988 by Martin Margiela. Martin was born in Genk, a city in Belgium. He was constantly surrounded by design and stylistic expression, as his father was a hairdresser and his grandmother a tailor, both of whom influenced his passion for design early on. After completing his studies at the Antwerp Academy, he worked as a stylist. From 1984 to 1987, he was Jean-Paul Gaultier's assistant. Gaultier was so impressed by Margiela's work that he famously called him the best designer he ever had on his team. Initially, the brand Maison Margiela started as a women's fashion house, exclusively producing women's wear until 1999, when the first menswear collection was introduced. Margiela's approach to design was highly deconstructive. He would take materials on a piece apart and reconstruct them into visionary clothing pieces to his liking. One of his signature design choices was to highlight seams, using them as part of the overall design rather than just a functional element to hold the fabric together. He emphasized showing the construction of garments rather than hiding it, a philosophy that became central to the brand's identity. The Tabi boot has become one of Margiela's most recognizable creations. Its origins trace back to the 15th century Japan, where split-toe socks were worn by nobility to promote better balance. Over time, these socks evolved with the addition of rubber soles designed for workers in Japan and China. During a trip to Japan in the 1980s, Margiela was inspired by the split-toe socks and incorporated the designs into his own collection. The Tabi boot has since become synonymous with the Margiela brand and remains a key part of its identity to this day. Another significant piece is the GUTS, short for German Army Trainers. In the 1970s, West Germany needed training shoes for its military. As there was a conflict who would conduct them, Puma or Adidas, Adidas was the one to do them. And after the fall of the Berlin Wall, many of these shoes ended up in vintage stores across the country. Margiela stumbled upon these surplus trainers and decided to incorporate them into his replica line, which focused on reproducing garments sourced from different time periods and cultures. The vintage guards were cleaned up and reworked with Margiela's signature touches. Some pairs were even repainted and adorned with his iconic stitching, making each one a unique piece. In the early 2000s, Martin began creating his own version of the GUTS, cementing it as a staple design alongside the Tabi boots. One of the most intriguing aspects of Maison Margiela is its unique numbering system. Each category of clothing is labeled with a different number. For instance, number 1 represents women's wear, number 10 is menswear, number 12 is jewelry, and so on. This simple but effective system adds a layer of mystery and intrigue, while also making it easy for the fans to identify which part of the collection the piece belongs to. In 1997, the brand introduced its more accessible line MM6, aimed at younger and more budget-conscious audiences. MM6 offers contemporary pieces that are typically more affordable than the couture lines. This diffusion line also helps finance Maison Margiela's avant-garde designs, ensuring the brand's creative freedom in pushing boundaries. A more recent known part of Margiela's universe is its replica fragrance line, launched to replicate specific moments or experiences through scent. One of my personal favorites is Jazz Club. While I love its scent, I do wish it lasted a little longer in terms of performance. Martin Margiela remained at the helm of his brand until 2009, when he stepped down a design team took over until 2014, when John Galliano was appointed as creative director. Maison Margiela is a brand that has left an incredible mark on the fashion world, from its deconstructed approach to clothing to its iconic tabi boots and guts. Margiela has consistently challenged the status quo and redefined what fashion can be. He had also a lot of collaborations with H&M, Swarovski and other brands. Even after Margiela's departure, the brand continues to carry forward his legacy of innovation, individuality and artistic expression. In the next episode of Culture, we will explore yet another fascinating fashion house. But for now, I hope this glimpse into Maison Margiela's history has deepened your appreciation for the brand, or even sparked a new interest to learn more about them.